On July 1st, 1863, over 160,000 brave men marched onto Gettysburg, a town in Pennsylvania. Little did they know that they were about to fight in one of the bloodiest battles of American history. The battle pitted the Union Army, led by General George G. Meade, against the Confederate Army, led by General Robert E. Lee. Neither general could have foreseen the brutality and the immense casualties that occurred during the battle. The battle, which was the turning point of the war, ended in a Union victory, but at an immense price. 160,000 soldiers fought that day to uphold the principles of liberty and justice. 10,000 soldiers never made it home, and 30,000 more were injured. Another 10,000 were captured or missing. Such was the price of victory. The bodies of the dead soldiers were buried hastily for fear of rising epidemics. The people of the town of Gettysburg called for the dedication of a cemetery, and the reburial process began. Shortly after that, a dedication ceremony was held. During the ceremony, two people were asked to speak. The main orator was Edward Everett, a Massachusetts statesman. He spoke for 2 hours on the causes of the battle at Gettysburg, the normal length of time for a dedication speech. Then came the turn of the second speaker. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, was the second speaker at the dedication ceremony. His brief, 2-minute speech is one of the most celebrated addresses in American history, and was surely a turning point in the path of the United States. Now, you've probably all read the speech. If you haven't, I personally recommend that you do. The speech is the embodiment of the American ideology and continues to be relevant today. To fully understand how the speech impacted American history, one must analyze it. Analysis. The speech was short, concise, and more importantly, to the point. Not a single word is wasted in this speech. Here is an analysis of the most important lines in the speech. Let's start with the first one. Important statement number 1. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. This entire sentence is a reference to the creation of the United States. Some people would say that the US was created with the Articles of Confederation, or even the drafting of the US Constitution. Lincoln, on the other hand, believed that the US was founded with the Declaration of Independence. The phrase 77 years ago indicates a duration of 87 years, which, mathematically, puts the date of the creation of the United States of America in 1776, which is, of course, the year the Declaration of Independence was signed. The phrase, "all men are created equal," appears in the Declaration, which adds emphasis to his belief. This phrase is also used to reaffirm Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, which freed all slaves in the United States during the Civil War. With this speech, Lincoln is changing the meaning of the war. Important statement number 2. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honoured dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that governments of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. In this sentence, Lincoln is calling upon the citizens of the US to dedicate themselves to the task of ensuring that the US has a new birth of freedom and to preserve the democratic government of the United States. Essentially, Lincoln is calling upon the citizens to support the emancipation of the slaves and to help ensure that democracy survives. This is perhaps the most pivotal sentence of the entire speech. Being the last one, it is also the one people will remember. Its message is one that has echoed across generations. It is one that has caused the United States to enter into countless armed conflicts in the name of liberty and democracy. The reason that this speech is a turning point in American history is simple. The speech has defined the way the American people have acted for the last century and continues to define their actions today. The war on terrorism is closely linked to freedom and the establishment of democracy in the Middle East. In fact, most of the wars that the United States has ever participated in were to maintain freedom and democracy. Here is a short list of these wars. The War of Independence, the War of 1812, the Civil War, the Spanish-American War, the Philippine-American War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Persian Gulf War, the War on Terrorism, 2001 to present. The speech made by Abraham Lincoln was one of the greatest ever made and continues to have an impact today. There is no doubt that this speech was a turning point in American history. In 2 minutes, Lincoln effectively described the greatness of the United States and urged its citizens to uphold this greatness. In 2 minutes, the purpose of the war was changed. In 2 minutes, Lincoln changed history.